Hello, I'm Robert Byrd with Sunset Memorial Park, and welcome to Dothan, Alabama. Woo! My parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents are from right here. The property we're sitting on today was my great-grandfather's. We're a small company. I mean, in a funeral home, we're just like very small. For example, it's me and my wife are the licensed funeral directors here at Sunset. My son just got his license about 2 weeks ago, so he's now on board. Outside that, that's it. We have a ton of good support people though. I mean, they do the lion's share of the work. My wife's sister, the grounds work outside is her work. She can make stuff grow. It's just phenomenal. Her and my wife has done all the decorating here at Sunset. They wouldn't let me pick out anything, nothing. I mean, the fabric, the carpet, the wall covering, nothing. And there's columns outside the building, you'll see them from the porch shade. The painter was out there priming them one day, and I drove up there and I said, I like to pick the color out for those columns. He says, okay. He said, I'll paint it today, and you come back tomorrow. When you drive in your driveway, you can be able to see it and tell me what you think. Next morning I drove in, looked at that column, the ugliest thing I ever saw in my life. So I quit. That's the only thing I picked out, and it was wrong. So I leave all decoration to my wife and her sister because they've got the touch, I do not. But we all have our niches, you know what I'm saying? We have our niches, and my niches is I love to wait on families. I love to do their services because I think that the funeral is for us to have an opportunity to remember the person as they were when they're alive. That's what I think. I believe that family members have sit in this chapel and there'll be a minister up here, and the minister gives a good talk, but there's nothing like the talk of remember the person as they were when they're alive. I can see them connect. And in a sad time, as they're sitting on that pew and their heart is breaking, but a smile comes across their face because remember a good time. And that's what I want too. I want families to have a little reprieve of the sadness of a person they just lost, because if we can do that, my job is done. I think the greatest challenge that faces us and me in our company today is families not giving us the ability to render our service to them. There are a lot of families I meet on a regular basis that say they don't want anything. And that's, I guess, okay for some families. And society has proved that not everybody has to see a body, I know that. And they heal and they get fine. But families that do heal quicker, they have peace about them, that speeds up the process. And there's nothing wrong with cremation. But I think at the end of the day, if you do have cremation or you want cremation services, consider having a ceremony. We had a ceremony yesterday in here. It was an outstanding service, and the gentleman was cremated. And by having that ceremony, having an opportunity to speak to friends and to have that time to share, it was just great for the family. It's just that connection that we need. I think knowing our heritage, knowing who our family is, and where they come from, and where they're buried has value. Some of the services that we provide to our families in our local area that's maybe different than other funeral homes. We have a reception center here. That's something that's different for our community. When there's a ceremony here in the chapel, they can either use it before the funeral or afterwards. It's a time for them to unwind, have a bite to eat, and meet with their family and friends again. So it's really, really important for that to happen. We have several different gardens. One garden is called the Garden of Valor, which is our first veteran cemetery. Our second one is in Freedom Park. Our closest national cemetery to us is about 100 miles, so what we've done with both of those sections is made available to our honorably discharged veterans a free space. And on the crosses, after we engrave them, we sandblast it and spray the name in gold letters, so it's a good contrast. You see it very well. We have a Cobra helicopter that's stagnant mountain out here that we use for our military people, because the world's largest rotary wing training facility is located 25 miles from here. let's say Fort Rucker. We have a lot of retired veterans that are instructor pilots. They have flown that helicopter in Hueys, and so we just want to connect with our community. So that's when we've done that. We use a caisson here too for military services. It can either be pulled by a car, a horse, or pallbearers can pull it. I had a friend of mine that I used to ride motorcycles with, and we rode up down the road, and he loved them more than I did. He gets cancer and he dies. I said, well, what would he like to do? I'm trying to remember the person as he was when he was alive. He loved his motorcycle. So I got online and found a company in Tennessee that had a motorcycle that would pull a caisson carriage. I said, boy, his wife would like that. But while it was here, I looked at that carriage and said, man, that is really neat. I said, I had this 1931 Model A car sitting out here doing nothing. I said, why don't we use that car to do that? So get it completed and hook it behind a Model A and park it in our Porsche out here. So I said, how will my family take to that? Will they like it? Will they not like it? My first family I met with after it was ready, I said, these are hearses. We have this traditional hearse here, or we have a 1931 Model A hearse. What would you prefer to use for your dad's funeral? And her sister walked off for a minute and they came back and they says, we'd like to use this 31 Model A. I said, why did you decide to use the 31 Model A versus the Cadillac hearse that's sitting here? She says, my daddy was born in 1931. We thought it'd be appropriate he go out in a 31 car. And I knew then that it was it. That all that anxiety about, are people just gonna look at it and laugh at it? It's been just the opposite. We use it about 95% of the time. Very seldom do we use our traditional hearse. And so we want to help to build memories. Take a sad time and make it a little less sad, that's all. If I had any advice for my son that just came into the business, I think I would want him to keep his gentle nature. He's got the funeral director spirit, there's no question about that. As he develops through his life and his skills, always remember what Dale Carnegie says, look from the family's point of view. And what can I do to make that family feel better? And whatever it is, do it. If you don't have the want to make families try to feel better, whatever else we do doesn't matter, it's all mechanical. And families that when I'm dead and gone and he's here, he'll do very well. Thanks, Funeral Cribs. Stay tuned for the next episode.